All right, we're here. Welcome to episode 35 of Versus Mike History. I am your host, Michael History. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you choose to listen. And if we aren't on your preferred platform, let us know and we'll do our best to change that. You can stay up to date on Versus Mike History by signing up for our newsletter and find any further information at versusmikehistory.com.
They say imitation is the best form of flattery, but nigga, don't copy me. Don't copy me. I work too damn hard just to be copied. And no credit given. Cause y'all niggas be copying shit, but don't give no credit. I take the credit, please. Fuck the flattery. Fuck the imitation. Don't copy me. You wanna compliment me? Fucking compliment me. Don't copy me. Don't just copy, nigga. Don't just copy me. Show a nigga some love. Yeah, that's some love. Don't just copy me. Niggas be like, I got it from you. Let me know that then. Let me know you got it from me. Credit me before you credit me. Pardon me. But just don't copy me.
Spit flows from the promised land. Never know when it's your time to go. So be honest then. Stretch bucks like I'm Giannis Ken. Don't be stressing about the time I spend cutting every line I'm in. Act like you know. Got your bitch moisturizing my fro. To play different when you know what I know. The one you sleeping on. Hustle like I got a beeper on. 38 under the pillow like I can't sleep alone. Thriller shit. Can't blame them. They don't know how I really get. Gotta know how much you really worth. The mood is militant. Can't forget to breathe when you killing shit. Quiet as kept. Running laps while I'm pacing my steps.
Yo. What's good, my guy?
What's up, man?
How you feeling?
I'm doing well, man. What's up with you?
Nothing. Just getting back into the swing of getting these interviews out and figuring out how to make this work for the long term.
That's all it's about, right? Just trying to figure it out and adjusting.
Yeah.
Man.
But how about you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh, it's none other than ignDunn. We live in location at the Upper Class Studios. This is actually the first interview ever done in studio.
That's live.
We've been here, like 2-3 years maybe, so this is dope.
That's fire.
We just got the walls painted too, so you're the first person in here to see this brand new space.
Word. Well, thank you for having me because it's an honor, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm making it my business to interview all the acts of Jersey and, you know, put my stamp and put my swing on how you guys get asked the questions that people want to know.
That's love. That's
so,
love.
Yeah, let's get into it. All right, so my guy, I don't really know where to get started, you know? Like, this interview, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but it kind of came out of nowhere. But regardless of that, I think that it was the right time to put it together. People are starting to put their content back out, and you know, even though it seems like we're about to go through like the second wave of this pandemic, people are ready to work, and I can definitely tell that through your work and through the project that you put out in August, because it's put together very, very seamlessly, and I think that I think it's a project that will define how our sound and what our aesthetic as a state will look like moving forward, because I feel Jersey, in terms of music, in terms of everything, media, podcasting, and art and fashion and stuff like that, especially with us being within the culture, the black culture, we starting to see everything come together. So I kind of just want to start with the new project, and then we'll get into all the background stuff later on.
Let's do it.
So let's talk about this this One Bad Day project.
Okay. It came about like I know I had the idea like probably like a year ago. Not even gonna lie, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So last year, I did a project with my man ignDunn. called Summertime in Jersey.
Right.
So like around that time, I'm trying to like create and like figure out like, well, what do I want? Because I have one project before One Bad Day called Sign Language. So I'm like, so what do I want my second one to sound like? You know, so around the time I'm kind of like trying to figure it out. And in between that, we started working on Summertime in Jersey. So that kind of like helped get my pen a little better. You know, I'm working with another rapper. So we both trying to out rap each other.
Right.
And during that time in Summertime in Jersey, I started to like figure out what I wanted to do next in terms of like, where do I want Dolla ignDunn to go, right? So from Summertime in Jersey up until the beginning of 2020, right? So January 2020, I had the idea like I'm gonna put this album out. So you know, we start rolling in February, March, COVID hits. So once COVID hit, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do now?
Word, yeah.
It's like everything just shut down. You know?
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. At first, I'm thinking like, all right, 2 weeks, we gonna be good. In 3 weeks, then a month, then 2 months, and then at some point, I'm kind of like, yo, you know, I'm in the house, I'm getting cabin fever. I'm like, yo, I have to do something. So I started coming to the studio, and from there, I just started like working on a project. At first, I'm just writing songs, and I'm like, yo, this is the perfect time for me to write a project. Like, it gave me, I don't want to say a reason to live, but it gave me like something to get up and work towards. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I understand that.
So yeah, once I started crafting it, it was like I didn't stop. Not at all. I just kept going until it was like a complete body of work. And then from there, I knew once it was finished, I'm like, okay, this is it.
So you began to work on this project, but you chose to put it down for a minute and work on a collaboration project. Why did you choose to do that? Why did that take precedent at the time?
Summertime in Jersey just made more sense at that time. You know, just coming off my first EP, which was Sign Language, like I said, and the second one was kind of like, all right, well, I don't really have what I thought would be like a complete body of work. So I'm like, it would make sense to like put this to the side right now and let's collab on Summertime in Jersey.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Would you consider this project to be? You consider this project to be your first album, first mixtape, first EP? Like,
nah, definitely the second one. Cause Sign Language, that's like a president of his own. Like, if you listen to it, it's a whole complete body of work, but it's just like a different version of Done that you hear. You know, like that was my first project, so I kind of like went into that like with no expectations and like how it would be received, but it was received good and people loved it. You know what I'm saying? So you know, with the second one, it's kind of like I don't want to create something that they heard already. In terms of content, in terms of like subject matter and everything like that. So once it came to One Bad Day, it was like, let's kind of be more vulnerable or more like honest with myself through the music.
Word. And do you think that was easier to achieve because of, you know, the way the year's been going in terms of COVID and how the pandemic has hit everybody, and even you know, police brutality issues that going on within the community?
Yeah, I would say that all played a factor, but not only that, I was just like honest with myself in terms of like, let me just be like straight up and say what's going on through my eyes and how I feel. Okay.
So talk me through the process of that. How did you go about even getting into that place, into that space to you know, tap in?
It was easy. Like once the beats come on, it's kind of like the pen just works itself. So once I start writing and my brain starts working, it's kind of like, all right, this what we doing then.
Word. And how close do you work with your producers, or like how does that work?
Most of the time it's kind of like just through email, or I'll find the beats and I hit them up like, yo, I got this for you, and they'll send it to me. And when I send the songs back, it's always like, what the fuck? Like, how'd you make this out of that beat?
Right.
You. So, but I eventually I will start working like one-on-one with producers. Like a couple weeks ago, I actually made my first beat with someone else. So I'm gonna start doing that. But yeah, right now it's just like I find the beats, I lease them, purchase them, and then from there I create. And
is there anybody? I don't want to say anybody noteworthy because it kind of takes away from the people who you've collaborated with thus far. But is there anybody out there who you think like really knows your sound in terms of who you choosing to go back to after working with them for the first time?
Guy Fieri for sure. He produced Dr. Evil.
Okay.
But my homie Talil. I don't know if you heard of Talil Brown. He's from I think Trenton, I think.
Oh, word.
But he produces. He's super dope producer. I only got 2 beats from him, but I think he knows my sound well. And that's like his forte, the way he produces. So I think me and him, eventually we're gonna do a project. I'm putting it out there now. We're gonna do something together. But I think he knows my sound very well.
And okay, so speaking of sound, getting into your influences, like who was there from the beginning to make Done? Like who was there in the CD players and the cassettes, on the on the iPod with the little swivel on it still.
yeah. Damn. I would definitely say like Max B. I was listening to him like 08, 09, like
Word.
a kid when he was still with Jim Jones and them, because I was a big Dipset fan. So he was collaborating with Jim Jones a lot. I'm like, who the fuck is this? So once I heard one of his songs, I'm like, oh, I'm in.
Word.
So that was like 08, 09. So I would say Max B, Rick Ross. I fuck with Ross since the beginning. Freddie Gibbs.
Word.
Just like a lot of just like the ones that started off on real rap shit and just continuously been on real rap shit. So like, it's too many of them, bro. Pusha T, like the Clips, the Locks, of course.
Word.
Noriega. It's a lot, man. But like just
all
like
the old heads from New York, I get it.
Yeah, you know. But I also like the blog era rap of the Wale's,
right.
Currencies, Wiz Khalifa's. Like, so I grew up on like obviously real hip hop, but then when I started to like discover my own music around that blog era, it was those guys, the Currency, Wale's, Freddie Gibbs, those type of guys.
So I'm curious to know how your influences lead to like your recording process. So a lot of the guys that you named, like Currency, Mac, Freddie Gibbs, they can lock in. Rick Ross, even not with the same type of producers, but those guys, they can lock in with one producer and create a whole project or, EP or whatever you would like to call it. And even before I asked you that question, I knew that your sound was reminiscent of them, and in the most flattering way as possible. But how do you think that you're more of an artist that's tailored to sitting in and locking in with a producer, or continue to do what you do now, which is like kind of just surfing the web for different producers and leasing beats and stuff like that?
I would say, like, as of now, what's best for me is kind of like finding my own beats, because I'm still like, obviously I have a sound, but I don't think that's my sound, quote unquote. Like, I'm still trying to discover new shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
To answer your question, like, I haven't sat down with a producer and worked on one thing. I've tried, like, if a producer sends me beats with like 15 beats, I might only like 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? And so it would have to be like, we got to be in this room and create from scratch. So eventually I will get to that point, but as of now, I like finding beats, because that gives me like a wide range of like different sounds, and I can pick what's tailored to me. And once it's all put on the project, everything will be like from a different producer, different sound, but it's all Dolla done.
Word. Okay. So let's talk about this office space for a little bit. I see pictures of what I assume is the crew. You say you got a fresh paint job, got the logo on the wall, TV, game system, and I see this plaque over here, which I'm very curious to know the story behind. Yeah, so how about we get into that?
That's a gift.
Okay.
I think my man's mom's gave it to him, something like that. I'm not sure. Like, I didn't bring that here. Someone else brought that up there. So, but it just fits, like, obviously one day I want my own shit. My man want his own shit up there. So that's just kind of like motivation. Actually, the first day we got that, right? It was leaning against the wall over there.
Okay.
Back turned to me. I came in here, I knocked out 2 records, right? Yeah. And I'm talking to my man. He was like, yo, like, these songs is fucking crazy. Like, I'm like, yo, one day, like, these shits is gonna go crazy. Just like,
rapper shit.
Yeah. And I'm like, in my head, I keep saying, like, what is this in this corner over here? Bro, I look over and it's a platinum plaque.
Wow.
I'm just like, yo, we just talking about music and how I want to get plaques, and can't wait till everything, like, starts falling into place, and the plaque is right there. So I'm like, yo, that's a beacon of hope. Like, that's the sign right there. So once we got the fresh paint job, I'm like, nah, this shit is going
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
going right back up.
Right there.
Now that's dope. So what would you say that this space is for? Outside of recording, obviously.
I always say this is like my second living room.
Okay.
Like I come here sometimes and not even make music. Like
Word.
when you walked in, I was watching Reno
Right.
111, 911. So this is just like the hangout, you know. I don't come here always make music. Sometimes I'll come here, don't want some music and take a nap on the couch.
Word.
It's just like I said, a second living room. The best way to put it is just my second living room.
And I guess what would you say to creatives that are looking for that creative space in terms of like having it outside of where they live and, you know, having just having somewhere to go to, you know, release that expression?
It is very important because before this, like, I had to drive 40 minutes to go to a studio. I'm paying hourly rates, so I'm on time clock.
Right.
But once I got this, it's kind of like you get to move at your own pace when it's your own shit. Like I said, I come in here, I don't record, I don't do shit. Sometimes it's just hanging out here. But when I do come, nobody's interrupting me. You know, when it's time for me to work, nobody's coming in here fucking up my feng shui. I'm not on the time clock. So it is important to have your own space. But if you don't sweat it. You know? Like, at one point, I had to make use of what I had. So you got, like, before this was here, this was just a room. We turned it into what it is now. So I think it's important, if you do have a chance to get your own space, make it yours and make it comfortable.
Word. That's dope. Okay. So let's take it back to the beginning, I guess. The beginning of all of this. Tell us the story about the beginning of Upper Class and how it came to be.
Well, I can tell you when I came, because Upper Class was like my man ignDunn. It was his way before anything. Like, I think they started it when they were in high school. I didn't go to high school with them, but me and Twan, we knew each other when we were kids. We met when we were like 8, 9 years old.
Okay.
I moved away to New York, and when Facebook got popping, he found me on Facebook, messaged me like, "Yo, you done from Parkview?" I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like,
Word, yeah.
I knew him when we were kids, but like as teenagers, I'm like, I didn't recognize him. And then he told me, I'm like, "Oh shit, that's crazy." And I seen he was making music. I'm like, "That's dope." So I'm supporting it, but I wasn't into music back then. I was just like a knucklehead running around doing whatever. But when I moved back to Jersey, we linked back up, and he's still doing the music shit. I'm like, "Oh, this is dope, super dope." So one day he went to, it was, I think, an event in New York. I was too young to go in. Me and who is now the illustrator for Upper Class that does all the art. It was me and him there. Twan went in the event, so it was me and Liam. We outside. We walking around, we smoking, and like we just like chopping it up. He's kind of like, "Yo, what do you do?" Like, "What you mean what I do?" It was like there's all creatives out here. Like, are you like in the creative world? I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm just a homie out here." You know?
I'm just a homie.
Yeah. He was like, yo, you should do something if you're gonna be out here, because it's like, you know, basically telling me like, it's like this is
this is a creative hub, like
yeah. You should try to like fit in and figure it out. I'm like, damn, you know what? That makes sense. The next day, I got fired from my job. I was like working at a bullshit grocery store. I got fired. I went home. I wrote one of the illest verses ever, and from there it's been curtains.
That's a dope story, you know. Having somebody by your side to let you know to tap in and really, you know, dig deep and find your creative outlet and expression is very important, and is even better to be accompanied by a team of people who believe in the vision that you're putting together and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say this too. From that day on, everyone's that I've like initially worked with, they're still with me. So the engineer that I recorded my first song with, engineered all my projects. Every song that you've heard, he's done. Same thing with Liam. He introduced me and told me like I should be in this community. He's made every artwork for me since then.
Word, that's dope.
Word.
So I guess my next question is, what do you see? What's the next plan? What's the next step for you? And I know that people usually wait until like the end of the interview for these questions, but you know, I like to sit down and map it out with people, because I'm curious to know how people intend to navigate this new streaming era. Because like you said, like we kids that are of the blog era, and this new thing of like releasing songs over and over and over again until your project comes out, and then damn near releasing a whole different project as your deluxe, and all of this is very wacky. So as a new artist, I'm curious to know how you guys approach this industry, and what's your approach?
Yeah, I would say more so just being us, like being me to the fullest capacity, but also being creative. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm just a regular dude.
Right.
Like I'm no different than anyone else, except for I do this one art medium that people appreciate, right? So in order for me to stand out, I have to be creative, and I'm not talking about in terms of like I gotta do like something to go viral or be like, I have to basically stand out, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go through the timeline, you scrolling through Twitter, what's gonna make you stop on my shit and like appreciate it, rather than you scroll down a couple more times, you're gonna see somebody else doing the same thing, right?
Right.
So I think the main thing is just being like me, but being creative, like, and staying creative. Like, I don't know if that was like
no. It definitely makes sense, because I think that this is the best time for us to be creatives. So I think that in you guys looking to be yourselves, it's a perfect time for that. Just because, with the year we're having in terms of us being inside and everybody looking for something genuine, and us not getting caught up in that Instagram world of like fake bodies and fake lives, and like people just want to get back to what's really going on, who are the real people out here, and what's the real art that people are choosing to create. So I respect that to the fullest.
For sure.
But moving on, I guess I don't know. I don't really know what to get into right now. Who are some people that you... Okay, I got it. So I noticed that you guys, you got your camp, upper class, and you guys are like multifaceted in terms of fashion and music like that. But in terms of other creatives, are there any other people that you would like to work with in Jersey? Or are you in a place where you feel as though you need to just stay in a room and make five beats a day for 3 summers, like on some Kanye shit?
It's a mixture of both, because I do feel like I should always just lock in and be in tune and just keep sharpening my own sword. But I also think like Jersey is like super multifaceted, from like the north all the way down to the south. You can just comb through that and find a pick a litter of crazy creatives. And I've been, like I said, from north to South Jersey, and I came across a bunch of dope cats from Jersey. So there is a lot of people that I have collaborated with that I will continue to keep working with. But it is people that I've seen on the radar and we kind of haven't crossed paths yet. But I know like when we link, we're gonna make something great. But for me, it's all about like the time and the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to rush it, or you don't want to come off on some weird shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I definitely get that.
So I just want everything to work out, and like I want the collaborations to be natural. You know what I'm saying? So that way you ain't forcing nothing; it just like flows. So yeah. So but to answer your question though, there's a lot. Let's see. When we start naming them,
it's whatever. I mean, that's a sufficient answer for me. But we could keep going. We could keep getting into it if you would like. The thing that, so I see that you guys are pretty much like a whole independent operation. I guess I would just like for you to speak to that and the importance of like keeping everything in-house and you guys owning your own stuff, and why it's important for that to be the standard moving forward with all creatives.
I would say the name of the game is independence, but don't get independence confused with isolation. Right. Like, yeah, we can be independent and kind of self-fund ourselves or push each other to do something greater than what we're already doing, but we also don't want to get trapped in or put ourselves in a box where we're not collaborating with other people, or we're kind of turning down different opportunities because it's like, nah, they not with us, so fuck them.
Right.
Like me personally, like I'm open to whatever, and I
Right.
can like say that with my camp as well. Like whoever we seem, I'm not gonna say like seem worthy, but whoever we see like, oh, they on the same shit we on.
Yeah.
Let's see where we could connect and create something greater than what we doing. Pretty much.
Bro, that's dope. I think that it's important. I agree with you, by the way. I think that it's important to collaborate and get different perspectives from all over, just because, you know, there's always something that somebody else could teach you. And I feel like we get so caught up in the like, oh, well, as long as I got myself, I'll be all right. And while that can be very true, you don't want to, like you said, distance yourself or box yourself off from other people who you could grow with. You know what I mean? Like
that's also a fast way to burn out as well. You're doing everything, and like, yeah, sure, you can do everything yourself, but why not collaborate with someone that can do that for you? Why, you know, you could focus on something else, or like, you know, let someone else kind of like not carry the workload, but contribute to what you got going on as well. And it could be very lucrative for either one of y'all, because they're probably thinking the same shit where like, I could do this myself, but if I work with this guy, it'll be doper.
Do you feel any pressure as a rapper to like create a sort of like aesthetic for yourself, or
no pressure, no pressure
like,
at all, bro.
No jewelry, no.
I'm gonna tell you this. Before I was rapping, I was still done.
Word.
So I'm still the same dude that I've always been. Like for the past couple months, I've been getting like hit up by people that I went to high school with, right? And they saying like, yo, it's so crazy that you're doing the same shit you were doing in high school. And I'm like, yo, that is crazy, because I haven't changed a bit. Like I'm still, obviously I've grown and matured, but I'm still doing the same shit I've been doing. But now people are noticing. Now I'm conscious of what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I was rapping in high school, but I didn't have dreams of being a rapper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now that I have like aspirations and know what I'm trying to do, it's kind of like, all right, well, you've been doing this for 10 years. You got your 10,000 hours already. Now put it in a box, craft it, and get right. Do a business. You know what I mean? Business wise.
The crazy part about that is that it's so funny what you just said, because that like opened up a whole box of not even memories, but like just thoughts of how people view creatives in general, in terms of like, yo, you was a rapper. You was rapping before you was a rapper. You know what I mean? Like, and people think that just because you rap regularly or you rap every day or you rap well, that you could just be a rapper. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. You know what I mean? I think that if you rap on a regular basis and you make the conscious decision to become a rapper, and you practice that is super different from somebody who has the ability to rap, who just walks around rapping and, you know, freestyling outside of buildings and stuff like that. Because how many people from New York in the 80s could say, yo, I was outside the projects with Busta Rhymes, with Hove, with, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, we was rapping too. I think that's the same thing with like athletes, right? Because I'm pretty sure LeBron went to school. That was people that was better than him that probably bust his ass, but he had probably different opportunities, or he had a different vision on how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I can say personally that I know people that can rap better than me. But they're not cooler than me. They don't know how to make better songs. They can't write better hooks. But
and they can't package it better.
Exactly. So it's more than just doing one thing. Like you have to be able to do multiple things in order to be quote unquote a rapper.
Yeah, nah, that's real. That's facts. That's what everything. That's what all these media gigs, man. Because everybody thinks that, like, especially, and I feel. I've been talking about this a lot, but like, especially like with podcasting and stuff like that, people just want to start a podcast and then they think they could just sit down and record and that is going to be a hit. But it's like, yo, it takes a lot more. Like it's a production. You have to be a producer. So you can't just come in and think that you're going to be a host every day. Right. Or a co-host. Like, nah, you got to figure out what you're talking about for the day. You got to make sure your levels is right. You got to do all of this bullshit that's sitting in front of me right now. And
yeah, you also have to be willing to like do the work. Because you can easily just came in here and say like, yo, we just gonna talk about whatever. But you came prepared. Like you came with a whole duffel bag full of shit. Like for the past, the first 20 minutes when you came, you was like, you know, setting up your shit, getting it right. And you kind of would like focus on that. You said like, yo, I'm not gonna ask you no questions yet because I want to save it. So I see what you're doing and I appreciate that. I'm just want to let you know that on mic.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
No doubt.
I don't know. I guess I don't really have any more questions we could just talk about, we could just chop it up on bullshit, and just talk about like how you came up and like how you see the world, and you know what made you like how you feel the world impacts you as a black man and stuff like that. But I guess let's start with your background first though.
Okay. I was born in Inglewood, New Jersey, which is like 5 minutes that way. My whole like my pop's side of the family, like they're all from here. So from like they migrated from Harlem and moved to Jersey. But yeah, from Jersey, I moved to upstate New York, Albany area. And every summer I would always come back down to Jersey. Like, you know, going to grandma's house, going to see the cousins. So
I know how it goes.
I was always like rooted in Jersey, but I grew up in another area, right? So I got the best of both worlds. New York, and I grew up in Jersey.
Word.
So just like any other urban youth, like once I got around the age where I'm kind of like can get off the porch, I was getting into the bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know how I go.
Yeah. And everybody around me, like all my cousins were older, all my friends was older. So I'm around older kids that are like doing the illest shit, and I'm right along with them. You know what I'm saying? Until I tell you, it was probably up until my senior year in high school. Matter of fact, after I graduated, my man passed away. Tragically, got murdered. And then from there, I'm like, damn, I got to get out of here. Like I had to get out of that environment. I had to get out of that space because I felt like maybe I'm next. Because the shit that we was doing is kind of like the normal, right? And then somebody that was close to me got killed for doing that. So I'm kind of like,
and just to stay on that for a little bit, like it's funny because we get these movies growing up of like Boys in the Hood or Don't Be a Menace and stuff like that, and you see like the main character go through something like his best friend getting killed, and then like his whole mindset changing, and like people don't realize that that's like a real thing for us, like for black men in the community, like. And it's not like we get into the bullshit just because we want to. Like sometimes we just happen to be products of our environment. And you know, once you make that decision to turn it around, it don't always be that easy. You know what I mean? Like
not at all.
And like I'm always thankful for the talent that I was given to be a creative, because I don't like if I didn't have a creative bone in my body, because I know I don't got an athletic one. Like the only thing I did in high school was run in cross country, but you know what I mean. Like I don't know where I would be. So like I don't know. I just wanted to speak on that for a little bit.
Nah, that's real. And back to the point of like your environment. Like I still have friends that still in the same place we grew up in, still doing the same shit. But they kind of look at me as like, yo, you made it out, so keep going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I keep that chip on my shoulder, kind of like, yo, they're kind of counting on me. Like I know I can't bring them with me, but I feel like just for me to make something out of myself would like be a win for them. You know what I'm saying? Like even if I can come back and tell them like, yo, y'all can do something different. Y'all can, like I do tell them all the time, like, yo, my nigga try to do X, Y, and Z, and it's kind of like, yeah, but you can't change anybody's mind.
You do what you can.
I try to give them game on, like, you know, try to do something different. But damn, I forgot what I was saying. Damn.
It's all good. We can move on.
Yeah.
Were you involved in like, I don't know, youth activities growing up and stuff like that? Like
basketball, man.
Okay.
I used to hoop like 10 hours a day, bro.
Word.
Just play ball every day, all day. That's all we did. Play basketball, chase the girls.
Word.
Run around, cause trouble.
Yeah.
That's it. I did have a homie that he had like a makeshift studio in his kitchen, right? So where he lived like on the opposite side of town where I lived at. So after school, I would go to his crib because that's where I'll be able to, you know, go outside, do my little thing, but still have somewhere like to, like a home base. So I don't got to go back to the crib.
Nah, I get it.
Yeah. So he had a little studio in there. So that's when I first started like rapping on the mic at his spot. So that would be my extracurricular activity, like playing basketball, doing whatever, and rapping.
So like as you progress in your career and you become more successful and things like that, how do you view giving back to your community, and like not even necessarily in a monetary value, but you know, participating with local politicians or local activists and local leaders and stuff like that? Like, do you plan on giving back to your community, or do you plan on creating your own initiatives, or what? How do you view giving back?
That's a very good question. Me personally, like I don't know anyone personally, right? That's an activist, that's a politician, but I think my mindset would be more into like monetary. So like giving back to my community would probably be better in like purchasing properties and making sure that people in low income neighborhoods got decent housing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting into real estate, and I talk to a lot of people and they tell me about like how they getting finesse, right? They don't know they're getting finesse, but like, yo, I gotta pay all these extra fees. I need money for this. And as I've been studying real estate, I'm like, yo, the shit that these like landlords or realtors are doing is illegal, but they doing it to people because they know they can get away with it because they don't know shit, right? Yeah. So I had a professor. He told me like, yo, not like just you taking this class, you know, 90% more than the average tenant, right?
That's crazy.
And I'm talking to my mom about how was her renting process, and she told me, I'm like, yo, that's illegal, that's illegal, that's illegal. And she was like, that's crazy. Like that you know all of this,
right?
And that I and like that she didn't know. You know, she's like, I've been renting, like getting apartments my whole life, and I didn't know that, but I just kind of go along with the motions because that's what they were telling me to do. So back to your question, I think it'll be important for me to like I said, get property and make sure that disenfranchised people get a chance for decent housing. You know what I'm saying? Or how people say buy back the block. More so that would be more my mentality to give back to my community. I see a lot of like abandoned buildings or like shit that's run down that can be like, yo, the homies we could put our money together, purchase that, and make sure that somebody got somewhere to live.
Word, no doubt. So you spoke about your professor. You are college educated.
I am. I didn't graduate.
You didn't graduate. You went.
College. Yeah, I know a little something.
Look, this is what I say. If you went to college, you college educated.
Yeah.
Even if you ain't graduate. So can't nobody take away the information that they gave you while you was there.
Respect. And I still got them expensive ass textbooks too.
It is what it is.
Word.
How would you frame the importance of education to you, and how you think that it may be flawed or how it could change for the better in terms of our communities and how it can help our communities? I hope that I'm asking you loaded questions, but I hope that you can follow.
No, for sure. And like I said before, I like these questions because no one's asking me this before, and it's just shit that I like think about and like, you know. But I think for one, I do think it's flawed because I would say this: my freshman year, right? I just went to play ball,
right? Like
out of high school, I'm like, all right, I'm going to play basketball. I chose my school by going on like the like you can go on the college website, and I'm going through like all the sports pages and seeing like what the girls look like.
That's wild.
Like what girls is gonna be there? Like
that's hilarious.
Them, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up, I went to a school, and I'm just there to play basketball. That's all it was about, bro. I'm gonna play ball. I got out of school at like I think I had to be finished at 2:00. So from 9 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon, I'm just going through the motions of school. I didn't know what I wanted to go for. Like no one sat me down. It was kind of like, yo, well, what are you interested in? Or they just gave me like a list of shit and kind of like, well, pick what you want to do. So for my first 2 years, I'm just taking bullshit classes. So once I started to like realize, yo, I'm not learning shit. I'm just being stressed because I'm like failing most of these shits.
Word.
It's kind of like, all right, let me reevaluate. So I took a semester off, and I remember I was telling my mom I'm not going back, right? And then my aunt called me and she was like, yo, I have a friend that works at the school. Like kind of talk to her and she could like guide you through some shit. So we're talking and like basically she's telling me like, cause I'm like, yo, I want to get into marketing, but I also want to do this. She was like, yo, there's no such thing as that. I'm like, well, how is it no such thing? And then it came down to it that I kind of made my own course. You know what I'm saying? So I took fucking public relation courses. I took marketing. I took brand strategy. I took real estate. So I made my own fucking college degree, and like everything that I've learned, I actually use. Which
should be the standard in today's age. Like you shouldn't have to follow a I don't know, curriculum of classes. Like you should go to college for the things that you want to go to college for.
Exactly, and it should be something where it's like, all right, they said if I had to take like a college math course, a science class, and some other shit, I'm like, yo, when am I ever gonna use science? I'm like, I'm not a scientist, so I don't want to take this science class. And like, well, you can't graduate if you don't take it.
Nuts.
I'm like, all right, fuck it then.
Yeah.
But yeah. Because once I did started to like learn and like mature my mind and realize like, yo, you can actually use this knowledge if you know what you're trying to like, if you know what you're trying to do, college is good for you. Right. But if you don't, you kind of got to like figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think about people that go to like these big ass universities and like $15,000 in debt. They first 4 months there because they ain't know what the fuck is going on. You feel
Facts. The thing about college is that I agree, is like even if you have an idea of what you want to do, like college is good for you. I definitely don't think it's for everyone, but I think the most important takeaway is that there isn't a solution for people who go to college and figure out what they want to do, and it doesn't align with what the college wants you to do. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't really make sense, because then you got somebody who doesn't want to go through the rest of the process. You know what I mean? Like, imagine like going through a process and then it helping you realize what you want to do, but then you realize for the rest of the process you got to do mad shit that you don't want to do. Yeah, and you know, most of the people from the generation before us would be like, suck it up and, you know what I mean, like, get it done. But yo, we living on borrowed time, bro. Like, it's no reason why we should be doing anything that we don't want to be doing right now, which is why I'm pushing everybody to be their best selves during this quarantine, because like, yo, once we get out, everything is gonna be hard body going crazy everywhere. So
I feel the same way. Like, kind of like you gotta, like, I decided that I wanted to, like, obviously sharpen my own sword and what I've already been doing, but pick up a new skill as well, or multiple new things. So so what you were saying, I agree with 100%.
Yeah.
So once shit is like, quote unquote, back to normal forever, gets that or whatever, I want to hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you needed this time to relax and rest, that's cool. But if you have something you want to do, I would say just do that shit.
Word.
It's really no excuses. Like you said, we're living on borrowed time, and there's no telling what's gonna happen next. Straight up.
Yeah, that's a fact. All right. So, what would you say is in the future for Dunn in terms of music? When's the next project? Are you releasing a deluxe of any sorts? Is there any merch coming? What can we expect?
I'll start with the deluxe. I'm not gonna do a deluxe. Like, I don't follow trends. Like, I'm not gonna do that because I see other people do it. If it made sense, obviously I would. But nah. I'll just drop a whole new shit if that's the case. But I do have the next project in the works. But One Bad Day is still hot out the oven, so I ain't gonna plug that in yet.
Of course.
I do have a video coming out soon. Green Tea should be out within the next couple weeks. And just musically, I'm just trying to, like I said, just keep sharpening my sword, collaborate with other dope artists, dope producers, and just keep getting it in, to be honest. I'm still, like, super, super early in this rap game, where it's like, I don't even feel like I've done anything yet. You feel me? So, I just
it's understandable to feel like that, yo.
Yeah.
I feel like that as well. So, you know.
Yeah, but that's a good thing, because it's like you still got that drive. You don't got no fatigue. I'm like,
no, not at all.
Like, you asked me, like, what's next? Like, I got it ready, but I already got this one thing that's out already. So let me just let that live for a little bit, and the next thing is ready though. Yeah,
it's wild these times we're living in, because this is like the best time. I feel like this is the best time that we live in order to, like, sit and really let a project marinate and let people experience things. But at the same time, people experience it so quickly. So it's like, well, I can't, as a creator, you can't create and put out because everybody isn't going to catch everything. But the things you do put out, people will consume so quickly. It'd be like, yo, so where is you got to find the middle ground.
Yeah,
it's really
that's very, very tough, because it's still people still finding my first project that came out in 2018.
Wow,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, and One Bad Day came out in August. People are still hearing it for the first time. So I battle with that all the time. Kind of like, yo, should I, like, just flood the market? Yeah, or should I create something with substance, let it live until it, like, officially dies out, and then, like, give it enough time to breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm doing visuals right now, and just kind of trying to stay. Like, I do have a whole plan, right? And, like, week by week, month by month, I've been following the plan. So eventually, when I get to the end of what I have planned for the rollout, I will start the next one. But but I still, like, have that in the back of my mind, like, yo, just cut it at the knees and drop the next shit. But it's a constant battle, bro. Constant battle. Very, very tough. But you asked about the merch. I do have. I just actually got some samples back. I don't know how I want to drop it yet because a lot of people are just doing like merch. You know what I'm saying?
No, I definitely get
that. Like back to everything else I do, I want it to be like organic and relative to me.
For sure.
So but I do have some shit coming soon. Some super dope shit. I would say super dope shit.
Word. That's dope to hear. All right, I guess we can wrap there. You know, this has been a really dope talk. I appreciate you sitting down with me and for inviting me to the space to record this. This is a real cool spot. And we're going to chop it up after this, of course. So how about you go ahead and plug your socials so everybody can find you out on the cloud.
$Dunn on all social media platforms. You can find my music everywhere they have music. You can go to your local corner store and ask them for like the newest $Dunn, and I'm pretty sure they'll have it. I'm everywhere. What we got coming up? November 1st, and this is the first time I'm saying this, we're doing a movie night. Me and the homies, we rented out the movie theater. You know, we're gonna social.
Oh, y'all
distance.
did the $100 joint?
Nah, we doing a local one up there. Like we got the whole movie theater. We ain't just doing like no small shit. We got the whole shit. November 1st, come kick it, watch some scary movies with us.
So that's fire. I'm about to pull up.
Yeah, yo, all love, bro. All the info will be out probably at the end of this week.
Word.
But yeah, everybody's invited, man. You know how we do. It's gonna be social distance. You know, mask required. That's the new normal. Make sure everybody's safe. You can just come out, have a good time.
Word. All right, and as always, you can find the podcast at VS Mike History on Twitter and at Versus Mike History on Instagram. You can find me, your host, at Mike History on Twitter and at Last Name History on Instagram. As always, everything Versus Mike History related is at versusmikehistory.com, and we will see you good black people next week.